Blush. Okay, blush is sort of the same thing as contour. There's different ways of doing it. The way that people, that is very, very popular now is a very, like, contour type blush. So you're following the contour. You're just, okay, so the space that you have to do contour, blush, and highlighter is actually very, very small. So the contour is here. The highlighter is the part where you, like, see that white line. And the blush is like right here. So you just have like, it's like a centimeter wide every single time. And you need to blend them into each other. So that's the way that people like to do their blush currently, is being like, I'm gonna do it the way I want it. I want like a very structured blush, therefore I'm gonna place it in the way I've done my contour, just a little bit higher. Then there's the blush that would be like, Wayne Gust, I think he calls it the running in a field with secrets kind of look. I love that. I just love that. I would just be like, you can see the image of like of a girl just in a summer dress running in a field with. I was just like, okay, that's full of secrets. And that's like a more like youthful way of applying the blush, because when you apply it in a contour, so contour really defines your face, but it also makes it seem more angled and therefore older. By definition, a very round face, everything that has like very few edges, seems very like childish, very young. That when he did that video, I was like, lol, that's what I want. Exactly, I did a look right after that, being like, I love that. I love this blush. So that blush application is more, you would apply it more here rather than here.
I just missed. Lindsay, can you take the can you please take the timeout off of Arenelle? I'm so sorry. I tried to mod myself and I missed. I'm so sorry. That's why.
Who banned
Erin? It was me. It was me. I'm so sorry. I was like, and this is the perfect time. Sorry. I'm not gonna touch it. Thanks, Lindsay.
You know we're on the front page right now, right?
Guys, hi,
I'm a professional
I'm an idiot.
streamer. Okay.
I don't know how to stream.
So there's like two big ways of applying blush. So there's the two main ones. There are other ways that you can do as well. So the blush that you would apply like this, okay, just like a bit higher than the contour, just higher up, and the blush that you would apply in this circle region to make it seem like you have, well, you actually kind of see it on my cheek because it's like, it's very oily now, but it's very like rounded. The one thing that I recommend, okay, as we get older, our cheeks, well, they fall a little bit. And I remember when I was in high school, people would be like, just smile. And
do this.
Do this.
And put it right on the apples of your cheeks.
And put it on the apples of your cheek. That doesn't work. I mean, it works when you're like young and your skin is like
Yes.
very elastic and like
and it will pretty much stay.
It'll pretty much stay. Yeah, it won't
Right.
move that much. Okay. As soon as you get older, your cheek starts falling a little bit.
It's kind of like it droops down a little bit.
Just even a tiny bit. Like
Yeah.
we're not that old, but even for
No.
me, I noticed that it does that. So like
it's
if
a difference between
you were
putting
to
it
smile,
here,
so if you were to smile, so if you,
there.
wait, are you like
Are you smiling? Because
smiling like
this is
wide?
really shady. This is really so rude.
So if I were to put it here, and then you stop smiling, then it's moved down like a little bit. And it gets, as you progressively get older, it will just like, I feel like on my face it's like very obvious. So I'll put it here, and then as soon as I stop smiling, it's downwards. And it will make your face look very, very heavy if you apply blush like really low. If you end up applying it like here, it's not gonna look that good. You want to apply it a little bit higher up.
Because you wouldn't apply it there if you had your face rested,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. So that's why.
Why would you smile temporarily, very excessively, and then drop the face, so it would then be where you wouldn't have put it in the first place? But I've had people at makeup counters say, smile, I'll put it here, and then obviously that you stop smiling, because who does that all day without pain?
Just like the jaws are starting to hurt.
I find it, and I've heard so many people tell me you need to smile and then put the blush right where you're smiling, but I've never really understood that. Thank you so much. Thank you. I've never really understood that when you would then stop smiling, your blush would be quite low.
Most of our faces are actually like sort of a resting face.
Yeah.
The majority of the day, we have like our faces are resting. So I know that's like not a popular thing to say, but I do recommend just applying the blush just with your face resting. It's not easy. Personally, I find like for me personally, blush application is the hardest part of like the whole makeup process. For me personally, it's the hardest part. It's very difficult to place it properly depending on the face. It's also very difficult to place the right amount of pigment because, okay, unpopular opinion, I don't like blushes that are very, very pigmented. To be smiling when they see it at the end, it's a selling TikTok by stores. Maybe
that's why.
Maybe.
I feel like after an hour and I caught myself in the window, I wouldn't be particularly happy.
Yeah. Same. I've had my makeup done like 3 times at a makeup counter, and I just like every single time I hated it. Like one time I even took it off like directly afterwards because I'm like, we're used to body painting. We're used to putting a lot of stuff on our skin. That was the first time where like my skin was like, I can't breathe.
Really?
I was like I was young and I didn't have any acne, and I was like, why do you need to put that much?
What? Yeah.
On
Why
me?
are you putting that level?
So I was like, that's just really weird. Blush makes people happy. So I prefer blushes that aren't very, very pigmented. Why? Because it's very easy to go overboard. It's not a big deal when you do, okay? If you go a little bit overboard, I recommend just taking your brush or your beauty blender, if that's what you're using to apply your makeup. And then, so let me apply the blush. It's okay, you can keep chewing. Like I'm applying it here, so it doesn't matter. This is why, like, everyone was like, okay, she's just getting her makeup done and eating at the same time.
Sorry, this isn't some of my whole brand. I don't know what does.
Yes. Now it's an M Craft stream.
You're just like, I love how food just spawns.
Oh.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Abomination.
You can keep on. Yeah. So this is why like brush pressure is very big. If you put like, especially if the blush, is very pigmented, if you directly like press your brush onto the skin, you'll have full pigment. Whereas if you do it very lightly, and I mean very lightly, like you barely feel the bristles on the skin, so then you'll be adding the pigment as you go. And I'm placing this like just right above the contour and adding a little bit more as I go. So I'm just gonna add a little bit too much, or maybe go like a little bit too up. Stem up there. Okay, so let's say like, for example, if I thought like, oh, this is a bit too much, and you can barely tell on a stream, a little bit. You can tell a little bit on a stream there. It's very faint. I would go back in with the brush. I have not added any foundation at all.
Well, this was the original foundation
This is
brush.
the original foundation brush. So there's just like a little bit of foundation left from what we've done earlier. And I will go, in the place where the highlight should go, I will start swiping so that I blend the blush into the skin. And just go around it. If I need to make it fainter in the area, like the center of the blush where I've applied a bit too much, and again, just taking the foundation brush, just very lightly, just adding a little bit more pigment. If you go really, really overboard, then I'm really sorry, you're gonna have to start over. If you go like, if it's massively overboard, and it's like a red streak, then you won't be able to fix it. That's unfortunate. So which is why I tend to prefer blushes that aren't very pigmented, because I feel that they're easier to work up to the amount of pigment that you need. Do you have the right? Do you have a screenshot? Do you want to look through them now, or?
No, I have some screenshots,
Okay.
but my phone doesn't give me the best thumbnails, put it that way.
I've noticed that.
I was just like, maybe not that one.
Either like you look really pissed, or I'm just like having like a really weird face.
I never understand blush. I never understand blush placement. I always thought it should be more on the cheeks because it imitates an actual blush like a flush, but now it's done more towards the bone of the eyes.
That's like a trend, I would say. See, the thing is, like, Mel, you also like that, the very contoured look. So it's like it's face shaping, yeah. So now it's like more a face shaping kind of blush technique rather than, like, oh, I'm flushed. It depends on the effect that you want to have. I find that, like, depending on like the look that I'm going for, then I will apply it in different areas. So either I will put it here, either I will just put it in this area right there. Again, to counter like the struggle that it is to place blush, I do recommend just working it up little by little because it's easier to correct when you're just like, oh crap, I didn't put it in the right spot, or
I didn't put enough on.
I didn't put enough, yeah.
I feel like we've all had the blush error.
I feel like a lot of people now, though, they go through a phase where they're like, I don't want blush.
I've been through that
And
for quite a long time. Yeah.
I started wearing blush just this year. Because I was just like, it's because I didn't know, like, how to put it on properly. Then I'm gonna go back in with the little foundation brush and just blur out the edges.
Oh my goodness gracious, Raven, thank you so much. 6 months. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, that's really lovely.
Highlighter.
Does this mean new badge for you? I think it does now.
Wait, what?
6 months is a new badge. It goes 3, 6,
Yes,
9, 12.
3,
So you
6,
got
9.
a new badge?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness gracious. Thank you so much, Raven.
I think it's... I forgot what color it is when you just, like, just subscribe.
Bronze.
Oh, it's bronze. Okay, yeah. Then it becomes green.
Oh wait, bronze, silver, green, red, gold. Then it's the ink.
Yeah. That's... Yeah.
Yes.
I love that. Highlighter. So there's nothing like when it comes. So there's different types of highlighting. Like we went through highlighting as in like shaping the face before, which is just like a matte type of highlighter. When it comes to shimmery highlighter, so I tend to go for more like natural types of highlighting. Where was the brush? I put it back here. Sorry. I was just like, where is it? Nowadays highlighting has become like a huge trend, like extreme trend to the point where it's like you turn and then it's like pure white. Like the pixels are just being blown out. Like that's it's just pure white now. That doesn't mean that, like, I feel like a lot of people now are pressured into being like, oh, I need to like highlighter because everyone likes highlighter, so I need to
like highlighter when everyone
yeah,
likes
well, yeah,
highlighter.
everyone likes highlighter.
It's a part of highlighter, but it's the main part of your Instagram video when you go,
Exactly.
ooh.
You look shocked at the highlighter that you put on like a bajillion times.
Is that my highlighter? I had no idea this was gonna happen. Even though I've done 17 other videos.
The thing is, though, I don't mind that part of the video because it makes me laugh every single time.
Because I feel like,
Like that's
it
my
makes me feel so
favorite part of the
stupid.
video. I'm just be like, yes. But so there are different types of highlighters. There are the glittery ones and the like sort of like the wet shimmery ones. I tend to like to work with cream highlighter, simply because I feel like it really sinks into the skin compared to powder, which sits on top. So it also like it will tend to look more like a natural highlight. Though when you look at more like oily skins, that could be like a challenge because again, cream product on oily skin might not work so much, especially if your cheeks are usually like tend to get oily, for example. There's all this attention around nose highlights that I don't like people don't do that in fashion. As far as like professional makeup, people don't necessarily do that. The nose highlight where they like the tip of the nose and here, because that's actually the area where they tend to powder, because that's the part where it's gonna shine anyway at one point. Once you start taking the pictures, once you start filming or whatever, it's gonna start shining, so they tend to powder that. What people will do is that they'll do it on the cheekbones, sometimes a bit underneath the brow. You don't have to put it underneath the brow. A lot of people do it because everyone does it, and they're like, I need to do it. If your brow bone is already very, very prominent and you feel like, oh, it's too prominent, then don't highlight that area. Definitely, especially not with shimmer, because it's just gonna you're just gonna see that. It's gonna end up being much more visible than it is originally.
I'm guilty of all of these. Oh, Raya, you made it! Raya really wanted to come. She thought it was last Sunday and thought she missed it.
Oh my god, no!
She was like, I'm so sorry, and I was like, it hasn't happened yet. How you doing, Cal?
Oh.
Hey, Squib.
Yeah, so I tend to highlight the cheekbones. Again, it's not necessarily like highlight is just, it's a trend. People like it. If you don't like to do it, or if you feel like your cheekbones are already like wide enough.
Sorry.
Be like, oh my god. Then don't do it. Same thing with the highlight placement. Remember, the wider you keep that, the highlight placement, so the wider you put that shimmer, the wider your cheekbone is going to be. If I started bringing that down all the way to here, Mel's cheekbones would be like actually this wide. So that may not be something you want to go for. So it's something to keep in mind. I'm blending it in with my finger to be sure that it's seamless. Talking about highlights, so in eye makeup, another thing that everyone does, highlighting the inner corner. That's not something, yeah, that's, I mean, everything shines now, so.
I know, I do have a very intense, I keep like leaning further back because then you can actually see like my own tone, whereas I come here and it's very, very washed out, so I'm just kind of leaning back a bit more.
Do you want to sit on the bed?
Oh my god, the green screen might fall off.
She's really
exposed!
Yeah, the inner corners. Oh, it's my guilty thing. No, it's fine. The inner corner. So, I feel bad for the people who have very wide set eyes, who feel they need to highlight that inner corner. So when your eyes, ideally, I hate when I say like, oh, the perfect way. That's not true. It's not the perfect way. It's just like what we choose as our base to work from. Between each eye, the two eyes, there should be space for one eye. Okay? Your eyes are fairly close, Mel, a little bit closer. Whereas mine, they have that space for the eye. If, for example, the eyes were wider, farther apart, then highlighting the inner corner is just gonna make them seem even further apart. You mean there isn't a real neon masterclass in the background? There is? What are you talking about?
I installed it this morning, okay.
It was custom ordered for this.
It's expensive. Where do you think your stuff goes?
So yeah, if you have very wide set eyes, then highlighting that inner corner is just gonna make your eyes seem a bit wider, farther apart. Whereas if you have closer set eyes, highlighting the inner corner will actually bring them further apart and therefore make it seem more balanced overall in your face shape. Again, it's always illusion work.
Illusions.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna take a little bit on that side. And blend it out with my finger. People also like to put highlight, I enjoy doing that as well, right above the brow bone. I find that it, just for some reason, since it's very, very close to that contour, it makes the forehead look a bit more defined. Then there's also like Cupid's bow. You can also put it on the chin if you want to. If you put it on the chin, if you have a very like big chin, wide chin, something that you don't Or if you just simply don't like your chin. Oh, if there's a feature on your face that you don't like, don't highlight it. That's just gonna bring it forward. That's just gonna bring attention to it. So, highlight. For example, if you don't like your chin, if you find it to be like too round or something, highlighting it will just make it seem more round, and people will notice that more. So it's best to keep it matte. Well, might as well just put on a little bit. I feel like we're gonna be here till like 9.
What made you think that?
Because I'm here. That's why I think that. That's why I think we're gonna be here till like 10 p.m.
It's
Because
only,
I'm
it's
here.
only 7 p.m. now.
It's only 7 p.m.
You've got 20 minutes.
Get 20 minutes to finish the whole phase.
Dusty says, "Oh, so I can't just put highlighter all over my face."
Well, you can. Everything that I say, I'm not.
I like
saying-
everything about my face, so I'm gonna bring everything
Everything. Just everything forward. No, the thing is, like, please don't, like, when I say something like, oh, you should do this, you don't actually have to do it. It's just more like techniques that are actually used more in a professional setting.
Yes, Leah can confirm.
Is it only Mel who opens her mouth when I put me? Oh, what?
Remember when we went to Twitch London and then she went to get something like off my lip and then I opened my mouth.
Oh. Yeah, when I applied the lipstick on you last time.
At
one point I was like, no, Mel, you don't, like, you can keep it closed.
That's true. Yeah, she was doing my lipstick for me last week. She was like, Mel, you can close your mouth.
You don't
Okay.
Make everything stand out. Yeah, so that's the thing. So the contour highlight that we did earlier was more like a more discreet way to make things stand out and bring back other things. Whereas as soon as you put glitter, that's just like matte highlighter times 10 as far as the effect that it gives.